You gave a powerful speech, and I'm going to quote it. You said, "There is no excuse for insisting that those who are serving excessive sentences under the long disputed and now discredited prior guideline must carry on as though none of this has happened." The vote in favor of retroactivity was unanimous on the commission. Republicans and Democrats shared your view. And you've gone to great lengths to explain how the law affects real people. Indeed, with your nomination, we can be confident that the court, its role, and its decisions will be more understandable to the American public. In your time on the bench, you've taken the time to explain your decisions and their consequences. When you were before this committee just last year for your D.C. Circuit hearing, you described how you, quote, take extra care to communicate with parties. You added, and I quote, "I speak to them directly and not just to their lawyers. I use their names. I explain every stage of the proceeding because I want them to know what's going on." As a result of that approach, you've made the law more approachable to litigants and American people. The cameras and the lights here today can make it easy to forget that at its core, the responsibility you seek is one of service. And I'm fully confident you'll serve Americans from all walks of life, all backgrounds, fairly and faithfully. Now, there may be some who claim, without a shred of evidence, that you'll be a rubber stamp for this president. For these would-be critics, I have 4 words. Look at the record. Your complete record has been scoured by this committee on 4 different occasions. All of your nearly 600 written opinions, read and reread, 12,000 pages of transcripts, meeting minutes, and other materials for the Sentencing Commission, your sworn testimony before the committee less than a year ago, every published and reported word you've written or spoken, your detailed answers to lengthy questions. For those who say they need more, I would answer that you have sat down personally with every member on this dais of the committee, Democrats and Republicans. A fair review of all of this makes clear your values and your guiding principles. You have ruled for and against presidents and administrations of both parties. You've ruled for prosecutors and for defendants. You've ruled for workers and for their employers, and you've been faithful to the law, not to any person or political cause. Now, there may be others who allege that you're before us today as a product of the campaign of dark money groups. Once again, your record and the process that led to this nomination belie that claim. To suggest that you're here merely because an organization supports you ignores your qualifications and the broad range of support you bring to this. In selecting you as his nominee, President Biden undertook a transparent selection process. He sought the input of senators from both parties. Senator Grassley and I met in the Oval Room with the president. He invited us to proffer any nominees that we cared to do. At the end of the day, the president alone chose you. He's put his faith in you to deliver justice at the highest level of the court. I share that faith. In announcing your nomination, the president spoke to many reasons that you deserve to sit on the high court. He noted the perspective you'll bring as a former member of the Sentencing Commission, as the first justice since Thurgood Marshall with considerable criminal defense experience, and as the second current justice, only the second, to serve as a federal trial court judge. He also noted your upbringing and the fact that you come from a law enforcement family. Yet, despite that shared family experience, despite your record, we've heard claims that you are, quote, soft on crime. These baseless charges are unfair. A conservative National Review columnist called claims brought by one of my colleagues, quote, meritless to the point of demagoguery. They fly in the face of pledges my colleagues made that they would approach your nomination with civility and respect. And fact checkers, including the Washington Post, ABC News, and CNN, have exposed some of these charges as falsehoods. Critics have even stooped to accusing you of sharing the views of the clients you represented, even though they know that your work as an attorney was in service to the Bill of Rights and the Constitution's promise of effective assistance of counsel. Would law enforcement officials and organizations, including the International Association of Chiefs of Police, the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, and the Fraternal Order of Police have endorsed your nomination if you were soft on crime? Of course not. I'm confident the American people will see through these attacks and any other last-minute attempts to derail your confirmation. In closing, I want to share the words of one more Illinoisan, if you bear with me, a rather famous one named Abraham Lincoln. In August 1864, at the height of the Civil War, President Lincoln addressed the 166th Ohio Regiment. Lincoln said to the soldiers, and I quote, I happen temporarily to occupy this big White House. I am living witness that one of your children may look to come here as my father's child has. Judge Jackson, we are all just temporary occupants of the Senate, the House, even with a lifetime appointment to the highest court in the land. You, Judge Jackson, are one of Mr. Lincoln's living witnesses of an America that is unafraid of challenge, willing to risk change, confident of the basic goodness of our citizens. And you are living witness to the fact that in America, all is possible. I now recognize my colleague and friend, the ranking member, Senator Grassley.
Judge Jackson, congratulations. Welcome to you and your family. I thank you for taking time to visit with me in my office after the President nominated you. Since President Biden announced his nominee